Hey guys, be sure to like and subscribe. This is about the 12th time I've tried to do this video so far today. I went down to the park, I was walking down there, and I had some kids that kept bugging me for money down there. And they were telling me, basically that we're not going to let you do the video till you give us some money. I kept telling them, they says, give us money, give us money. And I says, no, I'm not giving, there was like about 10 kids. So I says, no, I'm not giving you any money. And they says, well, no video, right? And I says, go away. So the kids would go away. One of the kids would hide up further, and then he'd see me doing the video. He'd wave all the other kids to come down to start bothering me again. And then they'd say, give us money, give us money, give us money. I'd say no. But they did this to me about 7 times. So finally I just got up and left the park and says, obviously I'm not going to be able to get a video done down there. So I'm trying to do one here at my house. And there's a lot going on around here today too. We got, between the torrential rains, we got a little dog up here barking from the neighbor way down. And a lot of other stuff. Plus they're cleaning down here. We had a leaner fall the other direction, but we have a leaner tree that's coming in our direction. It's the other half of the tree kind of that's ready to fall and come towards our house. So hopefully it doesn't fall during the day or tonight or whatever and damage our roof or whatever, and then we have more issues. But anyway, we have all this stuff going on and it's not good, but that's life in the Philippines. You gotta, you might as well be happy. It's more fun in the Philippines. But anyway, I want to talk about what's going on up in Manila, okay? And this is what's going on up in Manila. We have more lockdowns, ECQs, and I think that's going to start spreading because of the variant. Last I heard, there was quite a few cases up around Manila and stuff like that, and they're getting worried about it. So here's what's going on. With that being said, if that starts spreading around the Philippines, which I'm sure it will, unfortunately, it's just the way it is. It's spreading all around the world. So we'll start seeing lockdowns because of that. We'll start going back into things where we have to use our quarantine pass. We can only shop every other day. We can only go to the mall for an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever they say that we can do. We won't be able to eat in restaurants anymore. We probably can't go up to, I'm not sure if we can go to Mall of Asia as of now. I'm not sure if that section's shut off or not. I don't know. There's so much going on right now in the Philippines. It's hard to keep track of this. It's like a whirlwind of activity here with all this stuff going on here, and it's not really fun, So for you guys that are wishing to come in here, trust me, you wouldn't want to be here right now. And I'm just being honest. I mean, when this stuff is over, it's great here. I love the Philippines, but with all this stuff going on, it's not fun at all. You can listen to these other vloggers that, that it's all sunshine and roses. It's not, and don't let them lie to you because that's a bunch of crap, and that's just what it is too. The reality of it here lately is wearing your mask and wearing your shield is not fun, okay? And when we have these lockdowns, it makes it less fun, okay? Because we can't get out much. That's when things start emptying off the shelves. We can't go to some restaurants to sit down and eat. We have to go to order the food and take it home and eat it at home, and it just doesn't give you just have no freedoms to do what you want. Like, I like sitting down in a restaurant enjoying myself and just sitting there and eating my meal, ordering what I want, and being waited on. It's all part of the atmosphere when you go out to eat. Not bringing it back, carrying it back to my house, unloading it on my table, cleaning it up, and then throwing it all away, and all that stuff. It just makes a bigger mess for you. I'd rather have somebody else clean up the mess myself, and just go to a restaurant. It just makes life easier. It's more fun, more enjoyable, and it just adds more to life. It's just the way it is. But I mean, the way things are around here, between the rain, with tsunami warnings the other day, earthquakes, stuff like that. Everything's going on here all at once. And then we had for a short time there, we had the Taal volcano warning, stuff like that. But with these things going on in Manila, these quarantines and lockdowns that are starting to happen, what's happening now is I think that's not going to be a good thing. I think it's going to kind of spread around here. But we do have some good things happening, and I did hear that there was some movement on a few of the visas, but nothing that would help expats or anything like that. So we do have some movement like that. So it shows that they're working on this stuff slowly but surely. I think what they're doing is, that's why they're really pushing these vaccines, to get them out there, get them done and stuff like that. But a lot of people aren't showing up at these vaccination places because they don't want to get the Sinovac. They just want to get the Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, or what have you, and that's all they want to get. Nobody wants to touch the Sinovac for obvious reasons, because it's from China. So they don't want anything to do with it. So that's why a lot of people are staying away from these places. They're waiting for their favorite vaccine to show up. And until it shows up, they're not going to get it. And that's just the way it's going to happen here, because people are kind of stuck on their favorite type of vaccine. Some want the Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Moderna, whatever. You know, it's just the way it is in the world. And you know, everybody's kind of the same. They're stuck on which one they like and which one they think is the best. But Sinovac, obviously people are staying away from that. And I don't think the people took that, you know, took that into consideration when they ordered the Sinovac, that people were going to stay away from that because it originated from China. You know, so I mean, that's part of the issue here. But the other thing is here that, you know, with all the talk here going on about opening and stuff like that, I still think that once we get to that 70%, if we reach that 70%, because remember, some people said they weren't going to take the vaccine, but some of them are now because of the variant. So those numbers have changed, and I'm sure before it was like, I think it was 51% or 49% were going to take the vaccine. The other ones weren't. I think that's gone up as high as like 60% now, but I'm not sure, somewhere around there. So if they reach that 60%, then maybe another 10% will jump in and we'll reach that 70% number, God willing. You know, but there's so much going on here, and I do think we are going to get there. And thank God that the variant, when it does hit people that are vaccinated, that's more like a cold or something like that. It's not as bad. So I hope that people wake up here and say, you know what? All right, now we can open up fully. You know, because that's the same as a cold. Why are we worrying about it? You know, we got other countries around here, Singapore, places like that, opening up. Other countries are opening up and they're saying, okay, just get COVID insurance or whatever. And if you get sick, then you can go in the doctors and you're covered or whatever, and we don't have to pay for it or whatever. Because these countries are getting worried that they're going to be, you know, stuck with a bill or something like that from some foreigner going to the country that gets COVID or whatever, and they're going to have to take care of them. So these are some of the issues. And I know the Philippines wouldn't foot that bill for sure. You know, so these are the problems that are erupting all over the world. And different places are looking at it different. And Singapore has certainly come up with some good ideas just by opening up and saying, we'll deal with it as it comes. You know, and I kind of like that idea, because it gives us the freedom to move about and do what we need to do. Because these intensive lockdowns here, for me and a lot of other people, and also even for the Filipinos themselves, it's been difficult. It's been hard. You know, it's been hard on everybody here. And I understand why they're doing it. I fully understand it. But I'm not going to lie to you and say, no, it's been easy. It hasn't. It's been hard. You know, but I do understand what's going on. I do understand everybody has a different way of looking at it and a different way to go about it. And it's their country. It's their prerogative, you know. And the U.S. is going about it their way now. And, you know, a lot of these countries are locking people out, and some people they're letting in, and I think one of the Arab countries now, I think it might have been Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or whatever, had said something that if any of their citizens went into these countries that were so-called red countries or whatever they are, they're high in COVID or whatever, that they would be locked out of there for 3 years, out of their country for 3 years. It was like kind of like a punishment. So they were like kind of like people without a country now for 3 years. So what happens in a situation like that? Where do those people go? If they can't leave a country and the country's telling them to leave, they don't have the money, they don't have their job, you know, they're basically people without a country. I don't know how a country can do that, but there's countries out there doing it. But I'm certainly seeing some steps forward, some steps backward. I see a lot of stories also in the news, on YouTube, about Subic still, and about the U.S., you know, opening that up. And then I see other stories that say just the opposite. So I don't know if that's some kind of subterfuge or something like that, or what's going on with that. But every day here, I hear stuff about Subic. And I hear that there's purchase orders going out for things there. I hear that there's companies that are, have contracts there. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, you know. There is definitely a lot of swirling news out there. It's definitely throwing a lot of people off because people don't know how to tackle this news cycle right now. I mean, it's impossible, you know. I mean, people are trying to guess when things are going to open up. My guess is still the same. I still think it's going to open up this year. I think maybe October, November, I think we'll start seeing some sort of opening up here. Tourist places open. If they don't open it up by then, a lot of these places are going to go under, or because they've been closed for so long, that it's just not going to be good to go back to those places because of mold. They just don't have the people on to take care of the places, things like that. There's going to be a lot of issues going on with those tourist destinations and some of those fine hotels because they fall into disrepair when nobody's going there. When they're open, they're constantly keeping them clean, keeping them up, painting them, things like that. All the stuff is in working order, and by it running all the time, it keeps flowing. When you shut things down for a year or more, it starts going into disrepair and it doesn't work as well. And that's another issue all by itself over here. And I think these tourist places are going to take a really, really good hit. And when they reopen, they're going to have people work in these places like, really fast, because these places have been closed for so long. They're dirty, they're filthy, they need to be redone. Things need to be changed, painted, cleaned, and gardening needs to be done. All that stuff. You need to rehire new people because a lot of the people have been let go. And these people need to be trained. And then you got the first people that are going to be coming in here are going to be surrounded by all new employees. And how do you work with that? Because all these people are going to be new trainees, so you're going to get a lot of complaints from people about things not getting done and things like that. These are all the things that are going to happen here. So for you guys, new guys that are coming in here, the first guys that come in here, those are the challenges, unless they're hotels that have been open from the beginning. And some of these places have stayed open by some miracle, and some places have local tourists and stuff going to these places, but it's not the same. Most of those places are not the finer hotels, the finer resorts and stuff like that. They're like kind of second class places that aren't that nice. Just like that place that closed down that I talked about and I called it the Scam Resort. Places like that. Those are the places. A lot of places like that are still open today. They're open today, and there are some nice hotels and stuff open in some areas, but there's not any Western tourists going to those places. It's just Filipinos. Now, when the Westerners come here and they start reopening these really high class places, the higher class places here, then we'll see what happens because most of those places did shut down. Or they're charging half price or something just to try to keep the doors open and not really turn a profit, but just keep the place open, just to keep the doors open so it doesn't get run down. I mean, like I said, there's places up in Thailand, some of these villas that they rent out to tourists that go in there and long-term tourists and stuff like that. They're renting these out for half price. They're usually $640 a month for a villa, a two-bedroom villa with a pool. Now, you can get them for $350 or less. For a long-term lease because they want to lease them out because they expect this thing to last another year, 2 years, or whatever. Nobody knows, so they want to get them out there and get them up for get them out and rented and leased. But anyway, guys, just wanted to throw that out there. I still think we are going to open up this year. I still think we have a chance of opening up this year. I don't know what the odds are on that, and I wouldn't put odds on it because with all the stuff going on and all the changes and the variant and all this stuff, who knows? We got floods going on up in Manila. We don't know how long that's going to last. That definitely, makes things worse for the sickness and stuff like that. I heard the other day that people were waiting in water to get their vaccines. They were, like knee deep. That's what somebody put out the other day in the news. They says they were waiting in water in a line to get in and get their shots, because they were so worried about the variant getting around Manila and everything. So it says a lot. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care.